that you're going to like when you get there. It feels good while you're marching. It feels like joy. It feels like anticipation. It feels like eagerness. It even feels like hopefulness sometimes. But if you're marching towards something you don't want, and you don't like it when you get there, then all the time you were marching toward it, it felt like fear. It felt like anger. It felt like depression. It felt like victimhood. Sometimes it feels like negative emotion. Sometimes it feels like positive emotion. But you can tell by the way you feel how you're going to like it when you get there. And that's the thing that we really want you to be aware of. So one thing, the one thing of the two that we want to tell you about that we think trips you up and keeps you from effectively using your emotional guidance system. The most significant thing is that most of it is completed vibrationally before you see the evidence of it. But you're not listening to your emotions, so you don't hold yourself in sync with where you're going. Instead, you give far, far, far too much attention to what already has manifested. Which is fine if you're enjoying what's manifested. But if there's something missing that you want or something present that you don't want, and you're giving all of your attention to what's manifested, now you're messing up your vibration and you've got yourself moving in opposition to what you really want. The other thing that we think is mostly responsible for you not being aware of your own guidance and not effectively, comfortably utilizing it, as we expect you to begin doing from this day forward. We really do. We think you're going to get this so clearly here today that both of these issues will be non-existent within you. But the other is, somewhere along your trail, once you begin to understand the power of positive thought, you're hard on yourself if you are not in the most positive of thought. Joseph Campbell said, and we love his words as much as any words that we've ever heard spoken, follow your bliss, he said. And we say, perfect guidance. Because who you really are is over here living in bliss. And if you are following that vibration of bliss, you're on track about everything all the time. But the tricky thing about following your bliss is that if you're in despair, you can't get a whiff of bliss. If you're angry about something, you're nowhere near bliss. And we know, because we are vibrational beings, that this is a vibrational universe, and that the vibration of bliss and the vibration of despair are very different vibrations. And law of attraction is not bringing the same thoughts to someone who is offering the vibration of bliss as law of attraction is bringing the thoughts that are vibrating over here with despair. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and expect to hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies are very different. And if you've got your receiver set on depression, it doesn't matter how many well-meaning people are over here trying to get you to be blissful, you're not going to hear it. But you know what's interesting about this call of source? You get the sense of this? Do you understand it? Do you believe it? That you lived life, you launched rockets of desire. Those rockets of desires became, as your source became that. And then that which is really you is calling you toward that. Do you know that if you're in despair, that source's call to you sounds like revenge? What do you think about that? Shocking? Is it shocking to you that the call of source would sound like revenge? Well, source doesn't mean it that way. Source is over here calling you toward who you really are, to all that you have become, to the love and well-being that is you, to the pure positive energy. But as it is being translated through the filters of your resistant vibration, when you hear it in that distorted sound. So we would say to you bluntly, yeah, that's us. We're calling you into revenge and into anger. You know why? Because if you will let yourself go from the disempowered victim who is frightened and depressed, and you will follow the call and you will move into that revenge and rage and anger, if you'll stop and think about it, you know from your own personal experience, you feel better. And the reason we so emphatically know that you feel better is because we know the vibrational nature of despair, and we know the vibrational nature of revenge and rage, and we'd pick revenge and rage any time over despair because it's closer to who we really are. Oh, we don't want you to stop there, and hopefully you'll move through revenge before you act on it. Your friends would much rather you're depressed. When you're depressed, you stay in your room and you leave them alone. And when you're angry, you're out there making trouble for everybody. But from a personal standpoint, you got to know that the relief that you feel is an improvement in your vibration. And that relief means you're moving in the right direction. And we see you, some of you very well-meaning, deliberate creators, we see you stumbling upon something that makes you feel a negative emotion, and then we see you mad at yourself. And what we want to say to you is, if you find yourself in anger, friends, we promise you, you didn't move from bright-eyed, bushy-tailed connection to source energy into anger. You were coming up the stream from something that was much worse than that anger. And if you would stop and applaud yourself instead of beating up on yourself and say, I can feel that what I was feeling when Esther is angry about something, which isn't often, but when it happens, in every case, it's because she is perceiving disempowerment about something that really matters to her. Something that really matters does not in this moment look possible, and her disempowerment in that moment feels so bad that anger is the first step in the right direction. And if Esther were to be mad at herself, oh, Esther, you teach the science of deliberate creation. You should never be in anger. Then we would say, then she must not go out in the world. Then she must not allow her exposure to anything. If you're not willing to allow yourself the trek back up the emotional scale, who is it that has condemned anger? We'll tell you who it is. It's those that you are mad at. They would much rather you turn it on yourself. Guilt, as far as they are concerned, is much better for you. And we say, which feels better, blame or guilt? Which does? Which feels better? Blame feels so much better. Well, not so much better, but better. Neither one of them are really preferred emotions, but blame feels a lot better than guilt, because in blame there is personal empowerment. And in the feeling of guilt, there is less feeling of empowerment. So, you're getting the sense of what we're talking about. The thing that we really want you to hear is that you are magnificent beings, and wherever you are is just fine. And your source never loses sight of where you are, and never loses sight of who you really are, and never stops being who you really are, and never stops summoning you toward who you really are. And we wish for you that when you feel the call of source and it feels like anger, that you would smile and say, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. And we never again want to see you on your way into anger and then back to guilt, and then on your way into anger and then back to guilt, and then on your way into anger and back to guilt. We want you to say, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. And do you know that you could move from the deepest of despair into the most outrageous, delicious joy possible in a matter of days, really in a matter of minutes if you know what you're doing? Most of you who come to gatherings like this, your low point on the emotional scale is somewhere, the average point is somewhere around overwhelmment and frustration. And you're often up here in these vibrations of belief and knowing and loving. And sometimes you can see something that will dip you into despair or worry, but it's not your normal place to be, and it doesn't stick around in your experience very long. But we want to say to you, you are teachers, and you are running into people all of the time who are in this depths of despair. And as a teacher, you've got to help them to understand that where they are is fine, and that source energy is calling them, and you have to help them by your willingness to no longer condemn them where they are, because nothing makes you more likely to stay where you are than to have someone standing and looking at where you are. We want you to come to realize that these 2 points of vibrational relativity are the guidance that you were born with, and it is the guidance that is continuing to evolve as you continue to become this eternally evolving being that you will always be. In other words, you can't cease to be, and in every moment you are becoming more. And your joy depends upon how much you allow yourself to be that which you are becoming. And when you allow it, you feel wonderful. So, Did you get the main point of our message here? You've got to not give a rip about the manifestation for a while. The manifestation has got to stop meaning diddly squat to you. In other words, the manifestation does not matter at all. What matters is the way you feel, because the way you feel is your control of your emotional journey. And when you get control of your emotional journey, depressed, revenge, anger, overwhelmment, frustration, hopefulness, believing, knowing, when you get control of your emotional journey, you've got control of your vibration. And when you've got control of your vibration, you are in alignment with who you are, and you must thrive. Your vibrational escrow is full of millions of dollars. Do you have any idea how many millions of dollars that you have individually created for yourself that is lovingly waiting for you with your vibrational name on it? It's not there for someone else to swoop in and snatch. It's yours. It was carved out of the contrast of the life experience that you have lived, you see. All that you've been living has caused this magnificent life to become. And now the art of allowing is where you chill out and allow yourself to come up to speed with everything that you've been asking for. One small thing we want to say to you is that you'll never stop becoming. So there will never be a time that there will not be this that you are closing. Because, what happens is you get really good at it. You close the gap on so many things, but then life gives you another gap which you close, and another gap which you close. And that's what we meant earlier when we said this is the leading edge of life that you are all addicted to. This is the eternalness that you are all aware of. In other words, you never said, I'll go forth and get it finished. You said, I'll go forth in the eternal not finished. We never see you decide that you will go on a vacation and you plan your itinerary. I'll go here and here and here and here. You lay out all of the places that you're going to go. And then your final destination for this vacation is home. And so you objectively look at it and you say, let's see. We're going here and 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 here. And then home. But we're already home. Why go? We should just check vacation off the list, because clearly this vacation has been accomplished. And we say, you didn't go on the vacation to get it done, did you? It wasn't about getting it done. It was about the fun along the way. And that's the way you felt as you came into this experience. You did not come to get it done. We came, because we are all in this together for the fun along the way. So you said, I'll get in there and I'll mix it up and I'll come to new conclusions. Sometimes wonderful things will cause me to ask for more. Sometimes horrible things will cause me to ask for different things. But I'll mix it up, and I will personally, selfishly, intuitively, vibrationally prefer. And Source said, and when you do, we'll be there. When you give birth to a preference, we will become it, we will know it, we will visualize it, we will radiate it, we will offer the signal of it, we will be it, we will become it. We will become it in the way that all thought is instantaneous. We will be it, and we will be it so clearly that we will radiate a signal that you will be able to feel through the emotion that is tied between you and us. There is a never-ending cord, if you will, vibrational relationship, if you will, between who you are and who you are. And it is ever present in your belly. You can feel when you are aligned with who you are, and you can feel when you are not. And the most important message that we want to give to you is that there is never a moment's discouragement or sadness or disappointment from Source energy about where you are on the emotional scale. Source just stays where Source is on the emotional scale and beckons you forward. And so if you can get in the habit of wherever you are, stopping and saying, well, here's where I am, now what? What thought can I find that feels a little better? Not what's the best feeling thought. You can't make that jump. Those bright-eyed, bushy-tailed students of Abraham saying to you, you create your own reality. You need to cheer up. And you've got to be thinking, it's not possible that I create my own reality, or you'd be gone. Far, far from me. Because nothing feels worse than have someone pointing at where you are and exaggerating the fact that you're not where you want to be, like you don't know. You can tell when you're not where you want to be. You don't need the peanut gallery pointing it out. And it doesn't do any good for that peanut gallery to give you a long list of things they think you ought to do to get there. You know why? They don't know where there is. They know where there is for them.